to go back in because the curses of Tumah have gone stronger. Kosh Baruch Hu said, don't worry, I'm coming with you. So he says, Boil Paroi. And why am I telling you to go back? I've hardened this heart. It's nothing to do with Paroi anymore. Say yes or no. He can't say yes anymore. I'm hardening his heart. And there's two reasons. Number one, I've got to finish off the Makkahs. So you've got to see, and Paro's got to see as well, that Kosh Baruch Hu is the Almighty everywhere. As of yet, he's not shown it in the air and over the sun and the moon, over the earth, like he's not shown that yet. That's the last two. Arba and Chayshech, and of course, Makkahs B'chorus is all life is in the hands of Hashem. That he's going to see. So the first thing is, Leman Shisi Oisa Eile B'kirbai. I've got a few more signs and wonders to put in Paro. He's got to see a bit more. But the real benefit, Leman to Saper, the real benefits for Klal Yisrael, it's not for Paro. Leman to Saper Bosne Bincha Ben Bincha. You've got to tell your son and your grandson how I made an absolute mockery of Mitzrayim. Physically, yeah. He says no, he says no, he says yeah. Absolutely made an absolute mockery of him. People don't listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show them who's the boss. There's also sign the signs Asher Samti Bom, which I placed amongst them, and the real benefit is you Klal Yisrael will know Ki Ani Hashem. Listen to these words of the Ramban. He says, the reason why I've hardened his heart, Leman Sha'oshis Bekirbam Elah Isis Shanichavis Lasses Behem. There's a few more signs and wonders I want to put amongst them. Sheyedu Mitzrayim Eskivurasi. So Mitzrayim should know my might. I'm not punishing them anymore for saying no. That's not the point now anymore. They've just got a few more lessons to learn. But more than that, so you and Klal Yisrael for all future generations will talk about Koyach Ma'asai, what I did. But Tedu, you will know Ki Ani Hashem. But anything I want to do, as I will do it. The real beneficiary of Yisrael Mitzrayim is not the Egyptians, it's not Paro, it's Klal Yisrael. You just have to not do that. Now, I assume everybody puts on tefillin in the morning. If you got time, you're supposed to say something before you put it on. Shem Yichud, you can say, yeah. And it says like this. What's in the midst of tefillin? Tefillin is an edus, it's a testimony. Shenizker, we should remember, Nisim v'niflos, the miracles and the wonders, Sha'asa Imanu, which Hashem did for us, v'hoitzianu min Mitzrayim. This is Leman Tedu, Leman Tesafa. You should talk about it and know about it. This is what you're supposed to be thinking when you put your tefillin on. Hashem has the power and the rule over all the upper worlds down here to do as he wishes. Exactly the same words as the Ramban. I can do what I want. Guys have to learn this. But Shivanu, he commanded us, Laniach alayad, the Zichar Zroya Netzuya, because Baruch Hu stretched out his arm, and that's Neged Alev to subjugate our hearts to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our emotions, and a Rosh Neged Amayach, on the head, on the brain. So all the other kochas you've got should all be subjugated to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's anciently Parshas Bo begins with this concept and ends with Parshas Tefillin. That's what it's all about. Tefillin is made now. You got it there are other mitzvahs as well. But tefillin is the daily one where you're supposed to think about it when you put your tefillin on. Now we know as well another connection to tefillin is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, he said, "Hey Asher, hey Gematria 21." And each of your tefillin, you got 21 names of Hashem. 21 on the show, yeah, 21 on the show, Rosh. So you see, whatever's in tefillin, yeah, everything we need to learn and think about. You see, Mitzrayim is all. It's all there in the mitzvah of the tefillin. That's why it's such a very special mitzvah. Really, we're supposed to wear it all day because you need to think about this all day. The reason why nowadays we don't is the pace of life, the ability to you got to keep your mind on it. It's a very difficult thing nowadays. Also, keeping your body clean. So the mice we put it on a shachris, but the everything about Yisrael Mitzrayim we're supposed to think about is all there in the mitzvah of tefillah. So I saw something very beautiful last night. Moshe Sternbuch says it's very beautiful. He said, the ability to tell it over to your children depends on the Yadat and Kiyani Hashem. The more you know about it, then your ability in the man to sapir goes up. Because the more you know, the more you can pass on. He said, quotes the Chofetz Chaim. He said in Shema, it says something very beautiful. It says, sorry, next person. If these words are on your heart, then you can teach it over to your kids. The ability to give over depends on how busy you are. If you're passionate, you'll pass it on to your kids. You want them to be passionate about it. If a person's apathetic and very nice, yeah, okay. So that's the attitude we go over as well. The level of Alav determines the Vishinantam Levanecha, how much you pass it on and how much you the enthusiasm and you hand over to your kids. So says the Moshe Sternbuch, it's the same thing here. Now, why is it in the singular? This is the mitzvah, all of us, to tell it over, to relate it over. So why does it say Leman Tesapir Bozne Bincha or Ben Bincha? It should say Leman Tesapru, you clearly so to speak, Bozne B'nechem Uvenei V'nechem. So just before my mitzvah, my father's chavrusa told me a pshat. Every year I think of it. It's such an obvious pshat. He said, who was the first person to fulfill the mitzvah of Sipi Yisir's Mitzrayim to his son? Who was the first person? Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Where were his boys? His boys were in Midian. They were in Midian. So that's why it's in the singular, because Lamaisa, the very first person, was Moshe. Everybody else's sons were there. They saw it. They had the first 8 night Mitzrayim, but they were there. Moshe's sons only came afterwards, either before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah, but they weren't there in Mitzrayim. So therefore, the very first person to actually tell a son who didn't know anything about it was Moshe Rabbeinu. So therefore, it's in his Lashon Yochid, the man to say was Bincha or Ben Bincha. Now, what's Ba'ozne? How else do you tell over something if it's not in the ears? So it's very geschmack. The saying in English, yeah, goes in one ear out the other. Yeah, that's the word you use, isn't it? When you say, it just didn't register. Yeah. So the Torah stressing has got to be in your son's ear. Stay in the ear. That's right. The other way. The Cheshbon, part of the Cheshbon. Could be. Okay. So Moshe Aaron are parallel. The Koyam Hashem Lekei Ivrim Ad Mosai Me Anto Le Onos Mi Pon. Leonos Mi Pon. Now the word Leonos is from the word Oni. So a person has to realize that the human being is a very interesting thing. The human being is a very weird creature in that it's very easy to become arrogant. Because you do so much yourself, so it's very easy to get carried away to think you're in control. And especially a king. Can you imagine a king, yeah, with the power of life and death, and he can order whatever he wants and do whatever he wants. It must really, really go to his head. It must really, really go to his head. So he said here, Coach Marcus was telling Moshe was telling Paro, your problem is you're not going down on one knee and bowing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, subjecting yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Torah legislates, the Jewish king's got such power, that's why the Torah is very strict on him, what he can't do, because the Jewish king has to hold the Torah, all right. Yeah, because that's Akadei. If he's not holding a Sefer Torah the whole time, anything could happen. It's got such power. No, he goes to bed, it's different. Yeah. He's away during daytime out. He's on it. They say it's referring to the Sefer Torah. Kimi Mini on my right hand, bad. So some say it was actually like a tight with the hands, like a little score, like, the simple stereo ones kids get, those little ones, yeah, right? But that was the Kohen Gadol. That would be for the Kohen Gadol. Yeah. But for the Malach, it would have had. That's what some say. But some say no. It's probably Sefer Torah, maybe a small one. Sorry. While he eats, so he'll put it next to him. No, he held it the whole time. The whole time. They would ask him, "What's that?" So the Malach says, "Va'adabra be'edosecha neged melachim v'lo evosh." She said, "I speak about your words to kings. I'm not embarrassed." So why was he busy talking to kings about the Torah? The answer was he told me the same Torah, and they would say, "Oh, David, what's that in your hand?" And he said, "Well, it's God's law. It's the Bible." "Oh, really? What's in it?" And he would tell them probably that we said, or he would tell them from it. So it says, "I wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't interested in the nonsense they were talking about." So he gave them a sermon. Right? So Admosam honors me upon it. He said, "Parah, this is your problem. You're not humbling yourself like an oni before me. Shalachani v'avduni. And if you don't, if you don't, hineni maybe macha arba big vulecha. I'm going to send arba tomorrow in your borders." Now, does anybody know anything about locusts? How big is a locust? How big is a locust? I was going to bring one tonight. I got a plastic one, a life-size locust. Got to bring it. All right. How big is a locust? Anyone know? Little Moshe. 4 inches, not bad. It's between 2.5 and 4 inches. Okay, so it's about that big, and it can eat its body weight every day. That's how much it can fresh. What? Now you're right. For one locust, it's nothing. Now, how many locusts do you get in a square mile, a square kilometer in a plague of locusts? 80 million. 80 million. If you Google now, you'll see Egypt is 1.1 million square kilometers. Times that by 80 million, that's 88 trillion. Hold on. Oh, very good. Houses. Very good. So now, how thick was it? It wasn't one layer of locust. It says, it's going to completely cover the ground. You will not be able to see the ground. It's black and white. You won't be able to see the ground. And Parah had a big question. If the borod destroyed everything, it says it left behind two things: the pishton and the kusmi, the spelt and the flax were not destroyed by the borod. So the wheat, the wheat and the spelt. So why not? Everything else got destroyed. Why did Kosh Baruch leave it? Kosh Baruch now tells me the answer. I had to leave something over for the locust. Hungry? Yeah? He says, whatever survived the borod, they're going to eat. Anything which has sprouted since then, they're going to eat it. Now, says the word nish. There's two words in Hebrew for leftover. One is noisar, and one is nishar, to remain. Says the Malbim, noisar is unintentional. You eat a korban, you want to finish it, and a bit got left over. It's called noisar. You don't do it with intent. It's the least over with intention. So he told me here, I left it over with intention. It was left with intention to feed the locust. Now, how long does it take if a plague of locusts descends on a person's field? How long does it take for them to clean out the field? Believe me. A minute. How long will it take them to eat all the greenery in the field? The locusts themselves, yeah. 3 minutes. In the 3 minutes, there's not a drop left. So why did they come for 7 days? Hashem only needs 3 minutes. So he said afterwards, they fly away, find the next field, and we clear out the next one. So he says, no. After they finish eating, they're just going to stay around and be a pain in the neck for them. After they finish eating, this is the answer to David's question. They'll fill your houses, then your servants' houses, and then what they call Mitzrayim. Which no one's ever seen anything like it before. And then Moshe Rabbeinu did something very dramatic. He never done it before. How do a king? He handled with Paro, it might work. Because he's already softening the bar on his bit. Now, Paro doesn't say anything, but his servants did. And they're thinking to themselves, what is this Meshuggah carrying on like this for? You know, in 1944, they tried to assassinate Hitler, you know that? Every time they tried to assassinate him, Rommel, 4 times they tried. And each time, they just missed it. One is they put a bomb in the hallway of speaking. He finished early and left 20 minutes before the bomb went off. Another time, it was right next to him in the bag under the table. They moved it to the other side. Someone moved the bag to the other side of the leg of the table and it absorbed the blast. He got injured, but it didn't kill him. Every time they tried to get rid of him, they couldn't get rid of him. So here, it's still now starting to turn against Paro. So this Meshuggah, what's he doing? Give in already. So Vayomru Avi Paro Elov, Ad Mosa Yez Elon Lemoikesh. How long is Moshe Rabbeinu going to cause us more and more trouble? There's very little food left. He's warning us now, Arab is going to polish off the rest. There'll be nothing left. What are we playing at? And he said to Paro, Shalach es ha'anoshim, the Ya'avdu es Hashem Elokeim. I think, remember this word, the Ya'avdu. Because 3 times here. Let them go and serve their God. Hashem their God. He mentions Hashem properly now. Hashem their God. Hater and Tatum, don't you know already? Mitzrayim is finished. Paro doesn't say a word. And even he didn't bring Moshe and Aaron back. It was the servants of Paro that called him back. Because Paro didn't disagree with what they were saying to him, they thought maybe if we bring Moshe back, he'll give in. So what happens? Now Paro speaks to them. And he says the same word again. L'chu, ivdu, as Hashem Elokeichem. Go and serve like a slave, a servant, Hashem your God. By the way, who actually do you want to take it with? Now this is very important. Besides, Paro was hinting that he could see in the future they were all going to die in the desert, and you know, it was like, he said, you know, who do you think you're taking out of here? Besides, there was a remez for that. The ancient concept of worship was A, you're a slave or to whoever they worshipped, and B, it was old men, it was priests. That's all it was. Nobody else got involved in service. So Paro was very intrigued. Who's going? He said, this is an act of avodah. What Moshe claims to offer up Kabbalah to Hashem. So who do you want to go? Who do you want to take? Now he called it avodah again. So what's Moshe Rabbeinu's response? Vayayim Moshe. Do you know who's going? Paro. Bin Areinu, our youngsters. Uviskeneinu, our elderly. Neilech, we're taking them with. Bevanenu uvivna, so stressing sons and daughters, that's the youth. But Soinenu uvivkareinu, every animal we've got. Neilech, why? It doesn't say lava Hashem Elokeinu. Doesn't say that. It's a festival. A fest is a party. For us, it's a celebration to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not avodah. For all right, old priests dress up in some worship, but it's a chag, it's a party. Every mitzvah we do should really generate the simcha you get when you have a party. And when you get simcha out of it, everybody wants to be there. Everybody's there, right? All the kids come. Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Why? Because when it's simcha, everyone wants to be part of it. Everyone wants to be part of it, right? Even when I teach in Yavne, yeah. So the KDs, we have nothing to do with them by and large. But the last couple of years, it's been a big problem in broad parts of the box. So hopefully this year there won't be a problem. Is all of a sudden the KD chevra have cottoned on. They've cottoned on to Purim. So to them it's a party, it's a whatever, but they've cottoned on to it. Why? Why more than anything else? Because it's simple. It's simple. That's why everyone wants it. Who's going, and then you think it's a very limited only need a limited number of people. Nothing doing. Nothing doing. It's a chag. It's a chag. Now, who on Seder night copies the words of Paroi? Who on Seder night copies the words of... No, I'll give you a clue in the foresight. Hey, what does the Rasha say? He says, Dad, Ma, AVOIDEH hazayis lachem. Where do you use it? AVOIDEH. That's the only clue in the Rasha. Yes, your father, what you're doing. What's the significance of all these things? That in itself is not a question. But look at the way he words it. He says it's an AVOIDEH. So we say to him, had he been there, he wanted to come out. It's an idea. If you think it's AVOIDEH, that's not what it's all about. That's not what it's all about. You can call it that if you want, but it's a perception. That was how he viewed it. He viewed it like that. He said, no, Ki Chag Hashem Lanu. And therefore everybody's there. Everybody's in. Now, this really the be-all of where we are lacking. It could be because we haven't got a base of Mikdash. We can't reach this level anymore. It's possible. Could be. It could be. His opening words, he says, we were created for Oineg, for enjoyment. We're supposed to enjoy it. We're supposed to enjoy it. Now, let's be honest, yeah? Have you ever seen anybody, let's be honest, let me be really honest. Have you ever seen anybody dancing when he puts his mezuzah up? It's a great pity, but really, when you think about it, just for, for a couple of pounds, you can take something, and for 24/7, you're going to fulfill a mitzvah, say, min ha-Torah. You take your sitters in the morning. Why do we dance in the morning? I don't know. Why do we dance in the morning when you put your sitters on? Huh? Well, maybe you do. If you do, you do. Right? Why don't we dance? Why don't we come out of Shachris smiling away? Think how many mitzvahs min ha-Torah you've done when you're down in Shachris? Yeah? Berachas ha-Torah in the morning. Kriya Shema. Talis. Tefillin b'tzibur. Yeah? Kaddish. Kedusha. Baruch Hu. You've learned something. Kabbalah. Yeah? At the beginning, you say some Mishnayos. Maybe afterwards you learn a Mishnah after davening. Why don't we come out on a high, literally on a still half asleep? What?
Most people aren't here.
All right.
I think whenever I'm very ready, I manage to put all my body on the davening. I do.
So that's how it should be. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
The toil.
Well, this is it. So
when you come out really feeling God.
Right. Now the funny thing is, let's be really honest. The thing which gives us the most happiness is when we make some money. Think about it. Now, if you think about it, yeah, there's no limit to that, right? If you can earn 100 grand today, and you go, wow, you're walking on a high. There's no question about it. That day, you're certainly walking on and your mind is buzzing. What are you going to do with it? All of a sudden, things you never dreamt of, you're thinking of. I know, you're going to spend it. If the next thing you made 100 grand again, you would not be on a high yesterday. Simcha, generating Simcha. Now, David HaMelech says, Sos anoichi al imrosecha. He describes, I get a kick out of imrosecha, learning Torah, your words. Somebody finds a massive treasure. And he says it in the present tense. Sos anoichi. This is what I'm like the whole time. Right? Sorry? And he wasn't sure of the penny too either. Yeah. Right? He understood what it meant, Sholom. Yeah. But it's an amazing thing. So you see the concept of always being happy and never it never diminishes. That level of simmer never drops. You see, we've got it. It's definitely the koich is there. Only we haven't channeled it properly into a koich of the nefesh. But if it's a chag, think about it. Some people can pass. I always wonder, how do goyim get shikar every night? How do they do it? How do they get shikar every night? I don't think you can understand it, really. But how do they shikar every night? Someone said to me, he said, you don't understand. Life is not you're sober and all you get drunk. For them, life is you're drunk and you sober up to earn the money to get drunk again. But life is shikar. So I don't know what it is, but you see that there's no. I don't know whether it makes them happy or they're running away from reality. I don't know what exactly. But again and again and again, they never give up on it. And if you ask them, was it good? Oh yeah, it was great fun, great fun. Does they remember anything? Don't they remember anything? I don't know. The koyach is there. You can see clearly the koyach is there, and that's where we're lacking. That's where we're lacking. We're lacking. But if you can reach a level of simcha, and the mice, if you get a rare mitzvah, something you've never done before, usually you do feel something special. That I get an example where you do feel it when you put your tefillin on for the first time as a bar mitzvah boy, because you're already quite a mature man. You're not 3, you're 13, and there's a wow factor. There's a certain wow factor in your tefillin, because it's wow. It's a massive mitzvah. It's a massive input into your neshama, and your neshama feels it. Your neshama feels it. But really, 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 when every time you learn, why are you smiling? Why do we smile? Why are we happy? Or you do when you work something out. Yeah, when you answer a question, a difficult question, you find an answer to it. You exactly do. It's true. You do. But that's how it should be. Really, every mitzvah should be a chag. Every mitzvah should be a chag. And that's where we're lacking. That's really, really where we're lacking. You know, we think another moshe, you can see it. People never get proper football fans or any fans of any sport, but football is very, very noticeable. They never get fed up of their team winning, do they? And every time they score a goal, they're happy. So you see this musuk, the musuk of another one. They're never fed up. Right? Even if you win every year, they're never fed up. They want more. That kirk is there in the neshama. Definitely there. So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said to him. This is apparently where you're making a mistake. Everyone's coming. B'narenu, b'zkinenu, absolutely everybody. Because kichag, when it's a chag, everyone feels it and everyone wants to be part of it. Everyone wants to be part of it. Right? I'll be very not controversial, but in the school where I teach, compared to other schools, we don't learn that much. Yeah, right. We don't learn that much in terms of hours put in. Right? I wish we could do more. We do maybe our third kodesh. It's about a third. Perhaps we could do more. But we focus on one thing. We don't focus on the amount. We focus on one thing that every kid should just enjoy his kodesh lesson. Now, I, as a matter of B'shita, I have no exams and I have no tests and nothing. So I get asked questions, but how can how do you know if the boys know it? How can you, what's the word? There's a word for track it. How can you track if they're improving or whatever? So I said, well, every boy has to come out and say the Gemara to me. I know every boy's got to come out and say it to me. So I know he knows it. I said, but no test, no nothing. No nothing. Because once you have tests and exams, in a pure sense, it might be right. But at the end of the day, you're relegating Gemara to another subject. Maths has exams. Geography has exams. Gemara is not exams. Gemara is life. That's our way of living. Not relegated to exam results. So how do we measure our success? We were matzliach. If we say the second year, then we know, wow, then we really got it spot on. But the aim of the game is that they leave school, that they enjoyed their kodesh lesson. They can look back and there'll be very fond memories. Right? I've been there 13 years. I've been 13 years in the school. We've had 4 boys we've had to move out to the main school because of lack of interest in kodesh. They just wouldn't. It usually wasn't kodesh because of the other problems. We had to move them across. But it was behavior. But it was never in the kodesh lessons. Come out, never in the kodesh lessons. We do what's called a round robin. Round robin is when they have to discuss with their parents the behavior of the kid. The kid's not behaving. So they send an internal email to every teacher of the child. Could you please tell us how he's doing in your class? Now, I'm not a qualified teacher, and I'm not an experienced teacher like some of these teachers are. And some of them have nightmares with some of these boys, and I never have a problem with them. And they say to me, what's the secret? I don't know, to be honest. I said, well, the first thing is, there's no lachatz in the classroom. If the boy can't follow very well, or he can't, I don't ask him to play, so I won't ask him anything. I'll involve him as much as I can. And very often, the boys who can't follow inside, they actually discuss it. They actually ask questions, or they very often got very good answers. I don't put any pressure on anybody. Number one. Number two, I can't say that to the other staff. They get sweets and ash. It's she said the trimmings are very, very powerful. Number three. Sorry. Wow, that's mad. Now, my Rebbe said to me, he said, if your boys aren't behaving in your class, or he said, you're responsible. He said, it's because it's not interesting enough. He said, the biggest proof of the pudding is you get the naughtiest boy in the class, the most destructive boy, when you start telling a good story, he sits there speechless. So all it is they want to enjoy themselves. They want to enjoy it. So we put a lot of thought into what Gemara we do. And sometimes we get it right, spot on. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So we make it up. We're not going to do that Gemara again. I often thought Avrei Pesachim, all about Pesach, would be a big hit. It wasn't. It wasn't a big hit. It wasn't a big hit. The boys, they didn't really, even though they know all about Pesach, so you thought they get into it, wasn't a big hit. The second pair of sukkah talks about sleeping in a sukkah and building sukkahs on boats and on wagons and things like that. Big hit. Everyone loved that. So you trial and error. You do it. And Hamafkid. I was told many schools Hamafkid very successful. We tried it. Flop of the flop. Complete flop. Third pair of ovens here. But the second pair, Elim and Sears, they love that. Right? Everyone loves finding things and losing things. Everyone loses things. They can live it. It's very easy to relate to. We put a lot of thought into it. We found Megillah is very, very powerful. Rosh Hashanah is very powerful. So they're not the Yeshiva Shemesechtas per se. That's not the aim of the game. The aim of the game is the boys should enjoy their learning, and that's how we measure the success or not. You have some boys who can be, in Kodesh, never a problem, and the boys. It can be embarrassing sometimes. You get really, really good, teachers, qualified teachers, top teachers, getting A stars out of everybody, and you get some boys they can't handle them, and they ask me, what's it like with you? Never had a problem with it. Never had a problem with it. It's I don't know, but it's got to be a chag. It's got to be a chag, right? How many times do we say in davening? Every time we talk about davening, we talk about enjoying it. Because the Torah says, "V'harav, make it sweet." If it's sweet, then we, but says ain't our children, but says everyone wants it. If it's sweet, everyone wants it. What do we say? Abba, but nismach b'divrei. Be happy. But enjoy your learning. In the evening again. What does it say? Says, here we are. Yeah, v'nismach b'divrei salmo teresach v'mitzvah yisecha lo'elam v'oid. Keep davening your Baruch. We need to enjoy it. We need to enjoy it. Right? That's all we want. We want to enjoy life. So Chosh Baruch says, here's a way to enjoy life. Do it my way. Here's the Torah. And that's how it should be. That's how it really, really should be. That's really, really our she'ifa. That should be our thing to enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you don't need to educate your children. They see you enjoying it. They want to enjoy it. It comes automatic. It comes automatic after that. All right? Okay. So that's a hashkafa thing between Paro and Moshe Rabbeinu. So Paro says no. He won't accept it. Hashem should be with you. I'll send you and your kids. I think you're up to something. Not so. He says it again. Let the adult men go. Hashem 3 times. He said, what are you talking about? Rejoicing and dancing and happy. It's service. You're an Eved. That's what you really want. And then he threw Moshe Rabbeinu out. Dismissed. Okay, so tomorrow night we'll continue with the actual Makam Arba, but I want to continue a little bit with the Avas Chesed. So when you're distributing